I welcome all of you here today. My grandmother, who is a political war refugee, she came over from Ukraine in 1949 after living in displaced persons camps for several years. She taught me many things, but one of the things that I'll share with you today is that she taught me to celebrate whenever I possibly can. She taught me to celebrate not just the big milestones, not just the anniversaries and birthdays and graduations, but she taught me to celebrate the small moments of community, of connection, and of happiness and of joy. Because life is gonna give us all the rest, so we might as well enjoy the happiness as it flies by, right? So it is in that spirit of celebration, of community, that I welcome all of you here today. And with that, I will hand it over to Wayne Tormala. Wayne is an amazing friend of Center. I think I met him the second week on the job 5 years ago, and he has been a friend and supporter of us ever since. He allowed Barry to come 5 years ago, and he helped bring him in today. So thank you, Wayne, and thank you for being such a great supporter and friend.
Okay, thank you, Nika. Well, good morning, everybody. This is me up here. I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm going to get right to it so you can spend more time with Barry. But I do want to introduce him. The Barry that I know outside of his bio that you'll see on the next screen and all his academic credentials and over 33 years of providing free medical care ranging from villagers in Dharamsala, India to the High Lamas, including His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. But the Barry I know, I met about 7 or 8 years ago. And he did a talk at the Phoenix Art Museum. And at the time, I was a bureau chief at the Arizona Department of Health, overseeing the 10 leading causes of death in Arizona. And a physician friend of mine, Ben Barbaro, and myself wanted to go hear what Barry had to say. So we went to the Phoenix Art Museum. We're part of a few hundred people in the audience. And he did his talk, which you'll soon appreciate just as much as I appreciated it 7 or 8 years ago. And then he led a meditation, and then he gave us a break. And in the afternoon or later on, he led a walking meditation through the art museum, which was a very special experience. But during that break, my physician friend came up to me and he said, "Hey, Barry wants to meet you." And I thought, why would the Dalai Lama's personal physician want to meet Wayne Tormala? I mean, he doesn't know me. So I went up to Barry and I was going to bow in deference to Barry, and he said, "Come on, Wayne, I'm a big hugger." And he gave me a big hug. And I'm sure he'll give a few of you hugs before you leave the building today, if you care to endeavor in that. And then we agreed, because Barry wanted to start working more in the public health space, and that's where I was working and what I know a little bit about. And so we agreed to have lunch the next day. So that night I went home and I told my wife, Sue, who's sitting over here in the audience, I said, I think I had the best day of my career. And at that time, my career was about 45 years old. So that's saying a lot, that's, a lot of days over 45 years of a career, that was the best day. I said, because she knew, Sue's very familiar with the fact that I've been practicing at being a Buddhist since 1996 when my father passed away, and I've been thinking about it before then, and I really became much more intentional about it after that. I said, not only did I meet the Dalai Lama's physician today, but we're going to have lunch tomorrow, and you got to join us. And she said, Sue was a little resistant and, saying, I don't know, you guys have a lot to talk about. I said, no, you got to come. It's the best day of my career. You got to be part of that, right? So we went, and along with Barry and Dr. Garrett Griggs, who was at the time a neurologist at Banner's Alzheimer's Institute. Now he's moved on working with Indian Health Services out of New Mexico. And we had a lunch that turned into a 3-hour lunch, just talking, and it just kept peeling layers off the onion, getting deeper and deeper into our conversation. Of course, usually when Buddhists get together, they eventually talk about death and dying, and what is death anyway, and what does this mean, and who am I, and all of that. And then my wife Sue offered up because she's often much more courageous about this than I am in sharing personal stuff, talked about the fact that we had lost our son about 5 years before that, 5 or 6 years before that, to a brain aneurysm, totally out of the blue, total shock to us. At 40 years old, he passed away. And we were talking about, though, that part of our healing was that we've been spreading his ashes all over the world because he was a world traveler. And we do them ourselves. We give them to family. When they travel, we give them to friends. We occasionally even give it to someone we barely know and say, would you mind, you're going to Morocco. Would you mind, spreading some of these ashes? And so our son's ashes are all over the world, and that's been part of our healing process. But it was time to sort of end up and, go our separate ways. And then Barry said, Wayne, I have a question. Wayne and Sue, I have a question for you. Can I take some of your son Derek's ashes with me? I'd like to give them to the Dalai Lama who will bless them, and then we'll distribute your son's ashes in the foothills of the Himalayas. Which, of course, to me was just, those moments when your world just stops. And so you say, yeah, this is great, but we were leaving early the next morning for the state of Washington to go visit our grandson. So it became an immediate stressor, like, okay, how am I going to get these ashes to you, going from joy to stress, and Barry will probably touch on that balance in between that we all experience from day in and day out, from time to time. And I said, but I got to figure out how to get these ashes to you. He said, no problem, I'll follow you to your home. So he was being driven around town by Dr. Riggs, came to our house. We spent some more time there, collected our son's ashes, a little bit of them, and then his voyage took him to Mexico after that. But then he kept emailing me about, your son's a great traveling companion. He's tucked away in my suitcase, and this is great. So the healing process just for us really escalated. So we can talk about Barry's, his lifelong commitment and his adjunct faculty positions, University of Hong Kong and other places. But I wanted you to hear that side of Barry too, which makes him so very special and which you will feel this morning when you hear him talk. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Barry up here and he's going to take it from here, a very special occasion. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Wayne?
Oh, you need this?
What's the title?
Hope, healing, and compassion.
Sorry?
Hope, healing, and compassion.
Hope, healing, and compassion. I'm very happy to be here today with you. This is kind of like a home. I was here 6 years ago, was it? 5. Almost to the day, 5 years ago, when this all got going, the ASU Mindfulness Center, and feel very connected to all the people here. We've kept in touch occasionally. I get sometimes your newsletter, so I kind of know, I've been updated on what's happening. There's been a change of staff. Terry's gone. Some people are gone, but Nika is holding down the fort in an incredible way. She's an amazing person, and I think a perfect person to lead this organization. I'm also very blessed to have a dear friend in Wayne Tormola. We've been, together about 7 years and done a lot of very worthwhile things together for benefiting the community. So I have tremendous gratitude for him and for his wife, Sue, for helping in that journey. What is it? Hope? What? Hope? Compassion and healing. Thank you. Hope, compassion, and healing. Good. So I have to put something together in my mind now. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama often says, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So it's kind of a blend of optimism and realism. Okay? If we lose our hope, we've died. And unfortunately, a lot of young people have died. They've lost hope. The climate situation is dire. It's not getting better, it's getting worse, and we're running out of time. They're not having kids, and they've lost hope for the future. So how can we work with this? So it's hope, compassion, and healing. Good. I mean, I'm a healer, I'm a doctor. I shouldn't forget that one. Okay. So how can we bring back the hope in sometimes what feels like a crumbling world? Politics has gotten so terrible in this country. You know, even in families, people are fighting. I just don't understand that, but it's happening. People are getting angry, upset. There's a term in Japan, in Japanese, it's called kikikomori. Kikikomori. And it means shut in. And the government just published some figures recently. 1.5 million Japanese suffer from kikikomori. They're shut in. They stay in their place. Now there's a range here. Some go out to do shopping and maybe a few activities that they enjoy, but usually they don't socially engage. Others just stay inside their room and slowly die. Almost a form of suicide. Hikikomori. Very, very sad. This is not just happening in Japan, it's happening around the world. So we live in a very, very difficult time in history. But hope is not lost. Why? Because we all have this incredible gem in the middle of our chest. It's like a diamond. It's like a diamond, but it's better than a diamond because it's joy. It's bliss. It's ecstasy. Anybody know about that? Raise your hand. One hand. Oh, a couple hands. Oh, more hands. Okay, late hands. Maybe I know about it. Good. Good. And that's a source of hope because it's a source of potential. It's a source of healing. And so I call it a home. I don't have a physical home, literally. I have 2 rooms that are loaned to me by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and that's where I live, in Dharamsala, the Indian Himalayas. But I don't have a home other than that. So I've cultivated this home here. And this home here is joy. It's safety. It's safety. And that's a big deal in these days, particularly in Phoenix. I wanted to go see the homeless shelters. So last night I took a walk, and I think I went the wrong way on Jefferson because I ended up at the ballpark. And I met 2 policemen, and I said, I think I may have gone the wrong way on Jefferson. Where's this encampment of homeless people? I'd just like to visit. And it was maybe, I don't know, what time did I get dropped off at 6 or 7, something? It was kind of starting to get dark, maybe 7-ish. And the policeman told me where it was, and you know, they said at 12th and Madison, there's some agency that kind of helps, you know, bring services, and best to go to them, but they're closed now. They're open on business hours. And then they said, don't go down there by yourself. Too dangerous. I said, what? He says, too dangerous. I said, homeless people, too dangerous? He said, yeah. He said, after business hours, they kind of close it. So if you're in, you can't go out. If you're out, you can't go in. But he said around the perimeter, he used the word, it starts with a P, I just forgot the word. There are people that take advantage of you. Sorry? Predators, that's the word he used. I don't know that word, actually, but I rarely use it. He said predators on the perimeter, on the outside, they can't go in. And he said, they're dangerous. You have to be very careful. I wouldn't recommend you going down there by yourself. So, I mean, normally I have no fear, but I thought, well, if this guy's telling me don't go there, maybe I ought to listen. So I thought, okay, I'll try to go during the daytime one time, and we can go to 12th and Madison and go to the agency, and kind of they can help, help us get in and just meet the people there. Homeless people often come up to me wherever I am. I guess because the way I'm dressed or something, I don't know. And they, just start talking, and I talk with them, yeah. Happens everywhere. So I was in the elevator yesterday. I'm staying downtown, not too far from here, at the Palomar Hotel. Yeah. It's quite nice. And I'm in the elevator after we had a lot of programs yesterday at the Piper Charitable Trust with the fellows in the morning and the afternoon with some of the trustees and a lot of their staff. And got home and, rested a few minutes in my room, did a little of my meditation practice, which I hadn't done in the morning. I do 2 hours every day. But we've had early morning, so I haven't been able to get. And I'm jet lagged. I'm coming a few days ago from Japan. So then I go, wash my face, and I go into the elevator, just take a walk. I want to get some fresh air and move my body a little bit. And two guys come on the elevator, and they looked a little rough. And one guy said to me, "Nice ninja outfit." I said, "What?" He said, "Nice ninja outfit." I said, "What's a ninja outfit?" And he kind of looked at me like I was stupid or something. And I said, oh yeah, I think I know what it is. I said, "It is a ninja outfit," I said to him. "Yes, this is my ninja outfit." And I said, "What I'm doing is I'm fighting. I'm fighting the internal junk. The harmful emotions that are inside. I'm going to war with them. So this is my ninja outfit." And he laughed. Then we went out the elevator, went to the front door of the hotel, exit of the hotel, and the two guys said, "Which way you going?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I'm just taking a walk. I don't have any idea. I'm just going to go out and walk." And they said, "Well, we're going that way to see a ball game. Why don't you come with us?" I said, "Okay." So we walked and we started talking, and they started asking questions because all of a sudden they're interested. Who's this guy dressed as a ninja working on this internal junk, And they're from North Carolina, these two guys. So we started talking, and we introduced ourselves, and then, "What are you doing here in Phoenix?" Well, I told him, I'm going to be here with all these lovely people here today, and we have these other programs, and we're talking about compassion. He said, "What?" I said, "We're talking about compassion." He said, "What's that?" So I defined it for him. He said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Really?" Yeah. And he said, "Well, that's kind of interesting. I'd like to kind of know more about that." So I said, "Well, are you on Facebook?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Open your Facebook." So he opens his Facebook. And I said, "I've got a Facebook site, and I teach some of this stuff. And you're welcome to come if you'd like." He said, "Yeah, I'd like to look at it." So he said, "What is it?" I said, "Give me your phone. I'll put my name in, and you can see it." We did it. We opened up my page, and the guy says, "Wow, you got a lot of followers." I said, "You're welcome to have a look at it. If you like it, then become a follower. If you don't, just leave it." And he said, "I'm going to become a follower." And then he turned to his buddy, and he said, "This has been a special day for me. I almost fell over when I heard that." And then they invited me to go. We got near the ballpark. What's the name of the ballpark? Huh? Chase Field. Yeah, we got near Chase Field, and they said, "Come on, we'll invite you. Come on into the ball game." I said, "Thanks, I want to walk." And then we parted as good friends. And he was real excited about looking at the Facebook site and learning more about compassion. So you can never tell the book by its cover. Yeah? These were good guys. They just had a gruff exterior and maybe were a little insecure, a little uncomfortable. So they put on a little what do you call it? Machado? Huh? Macho exterior, right? But really good guys. And everybody's like that. We all put on these masks. We hide. we're afraid, we're insecure. But deep down, there's that home of safety, of love, of joy, of ecstasy. So that's the home I've been cultivating. And I recommend you do the same. Some of you have already identified it. Nourish it. Nourish it. Make it really joyful, fully joyful. A place of safety you can return to whenever. You're not hiding. You're not escaping from the world. You're just allowing yourself to be happy. And then when you go out in the world being happy, then things work out well. You don't feel lonely. You feel connected. Whether you're with people or not, you feel connected. Okay? That's what love's all about. Okay? And that's the natural state. This idea of us and them, this is junk. It's artificial. It's superficial. It's made up. It's based on a falsity of who we think we are. But we're not that. And because we have this false sense of ourself, we want to protect it. So whatever feels like a threat, push it away. With aggression, with anger. Whatever feels like it's going to support and be nurturing, bring it towards us and don't let go. We get very attached. All based on this false notion of who we are. Hope, compassion, and healing. Good. Have I covered some of that? A little bit? Skoshi, as they say in Japan. Skoshi, a little bit. Good. Yeah. How much time? Give me a time check. Huh? It's 10:55. When did we start? When did I start? 10:30, 10:55. And we're going till 12? 10:55. Let me talk 5 more minutes, okay? Give me a, Zach, thanks. Okay. Healthy self-confidence. Raise your hands if you know what healthy self-confidence is. Good. Tell me, what is healthy self-confidence, please? Faith in your decisions. Being your own best friend. Very good. Thank you. Somebody else. What's healthy self-confidence? Sorry? Liking yourself like you are. Wonderful. Thank you. What else? What's healthy self-confidence? Yes, please. You know what you know. And you also know what you don't know. Very good. Thank you. What's healthy self-confidence? Please. Being brave to do what there is to do. What's yours to do. Thank you. Wonderful. Yes. What's healthy self-confidence? Okay, I'm going to approach it slightly different. What you all said was wonderful, beautiful. What I'm going to talk about is a middle way, a middle way. So when we talk about a middle way, that implies there's kind of two extremes on the other side. Yeah, and we're navigating between them, middle way. So what are the two extremes? So one is putting ourselves down. This is a rhetorical question. You don't have to put your hands up. How many people know that? I'm going to assume everybody does, okay? You don't have to raise your hand. Everyone feels like a imposter syndrome. I don't belong here. I'm not good enough, right? We all feel that. Most of us feel that. Sometimes we go on the opposite. Boy, am I good. Right? We feel on top of the world, better than others. Right? We know everything. Yeah? Arrogance. So sometimes we put ourselves down, low self-esteem, low self-confidence. And sometimes we put others down, being arrogant or proud. So healthy self-confidence is between those, neither of those. It's not putting ourselves down, and it's not putting anybody else down. Okay? And I think that would fit with what most, if not all of you, characterized as healthy self-confidence. Now, how do you do that? Easier said than done, huh? Yeah. So mindfulness is a wonderful tool to help us. So what's mindfulness? What's mindfulness? Sorry? Being aware. Being aware of what? Of your awareness. Okay, good, thank you. What else? What's mindfulness? Huh? Balance. Balance in life, thank you. Yes, mindfulness. Being able to focus what's in front of you right now, not the past or the future. Yes, that's the technical definition of mindfulness. Thank you. Yes. Other things are correct. That's more of a technical definition of mindfulness. Good. Yes, please. Being able to be appreciative of the small good things. Wonderful. I love your matching colors. You have a beautiful colored dress, and you have the same color mask. No problem. I'm happy that you wear it. I usually wear it. I just here I've kind of gotten lazy because most people are not wearing them. But I'm wearing a mask. So thank you for doing that. Yes, please. Mindfulness. Okay. Yeah. So that's mindfulness, and so we use that as a tool to look inside in the present moment. What's happening now? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And if we want to go deeper, just go into our awareness, non-conceptual awareness, okay? But primarily it's the former. It's looking inside in the present moment. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And when I notice that I've got negativity there, let's say I'm angry or I'm jealous or I feel pride, okay? Then we learn tools to transform anger, jealousy, pride into their healthy opposites. What's the healthy opposite of anger? Sorry? Huh? Love. Yeah, kind of. It's in that ballpark, but what's the joy? Yeah, kind of. It's in that ballpark. Anybody else? Acceptance? Yeah, sort of. We usually say, and this is more from an Eastern perspective, patience. Patience is not getting angry. Okay? It's not suppressing it, but it's just, finding ways to deal with a situation that normally would get us angry. We can actually be calm and be patient or tolerant. Okay? And the other is jealousy. What's the opposite of jealousy? Huh? Gratitude. Yeah, similar gratitude. We often say appreciation. So rather than putting the other person down, to sort of see him as an equal, appreciate whatever they did that was good stuff, that rather than get jealous or envious. What's the opposite of arrogance? Humility. Yeah. Humility takes a lot of guts, courage, strength. Look at Saint Mother Teresa, little Albanian lady, tough as nails. Picking up dying people in Calcutta, laying in their excrement, yeah? Whew. Cleaning, bathing, loving, feeding, yeah? Nelson Mandela, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Martin Luther King, that little guy from India, yeah? Gandhi, who kicked out the British almost single-handedly, non-violently. Ahimsa, non-violence was his program, who had been occupying his country for 300 years, okay? All these people were incredibly humble. They practiced compassion. There was no anger. I'm going to stop there. Let's flip into discussion. So do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Let's have a talk. Is that okay? 1 hour left. Oh, so I can talk a little more? You want me to talk or you want to talk? You want me to talk? You want me to do the work? Please. I'd be happy to. So we call that area, so the question is, could I talk more about how to cultivate patience, appreciation, and humility? Good, you wrote that down, huh? Good. Be happy to. This whole area we call emotional hygiene. Okay, hygiene, cleaning up, right? And what are we cleaning up? We're not cleaning up the environment, which is more public health, but we're cleaning up our emotions. So emotional hygiene, okay? So first we have to recognize our harmful emotions. How do we do that? Please. Mindfulness. Perfect. $64,000 question. Yeah, now probably 64 million or billion dollar question. Beautiful. You'll take it. Good. If I had to offer it to you, I'd give it to you. Good. So mindfulness. And we said mindfulness is looking inside in the present moment, not in the future, not in the past. You know, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? And when we look inside and we notice that we're angry, okay, then we want to apply a method. Now with anger, when we're full-blown angry, we can't work with it. You know, we're kind of just, too much anger. We can't work with it. So we have to learn to catch anger early. Okay? So what are your early signs and symptoms of anger? Tell me. Sorry? Rising blood pressure. Good. What else? Yes, please. Voice gets louder. Good. Some people withdraw and get really silent. Please.
I've been working with this a lot, and what I notice is that it's external, that what I see first is the thing that's causing me the stress. It's harder for me to see what's happening when I get triggered and angry.
Yeah.
That for me, it's my almost 10-year-old daughter.
So to see someone who we think is provoking us, that may be an early sign of anger. Good. What else? Irritation. Very good. What else? Sorry? Poor communication. Short. Yeah, good. Very good. What else, please? Yeah, you lose the other person's perspective. Very good. What else? Speed up, your heart rate, your heart rate, your breathing. Yeah, good. What else, please? Blaming others or blaming ourselves. Both. Good. Both. Good. What else? The body gets tight. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes tension in the neck muscles or the body muscles. Throat. Good. What else? So now I want you, through using mindfulness, checking up in the present moment. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? I want you to identify your pre-anger stuff. Get familiar with it. And then when you check up and you notice, oh, my heart's going a little fast, but I haven't been exercising, okay? I'm feeling a little irritated. You know, I'm speaking very fast. My communication is not so good. I'm cut off from others. You know, all these, if you notice these things coming up, tell yourself, I might be getting angry. And then you apply a method. Okay, let me give you a method. You imagine your pre-anger stuff becomes a cloud, and that cloud drifts across the sky and completely dissipates, dissolves, along with your pre-anger. Now, this is guaranteed not to work the first time. We've been getting angry since we were kids. So we have this deeply ingrained habit of reacting with anger. We won't overturn it overnight. But if you're persistent and you continue to apply this method, you will reduce your anger. The intensity, the frequency will reduce. I rarely get angry anymore. Rarely. And if I do, it's something little and it goes quick. So this method works to transform anger into tolerance or patience without suppressing it. Okay? Second one, jealousy. We often get jealous, but we don't recognize it. But it affects us. Makes us kind of smaller. We get constricted when we're jealous, envious, putting somebody else down. So the way to work with transforming jealousy into its healthy opposite of appreciation, okay, is that we need to identify, recognize that we're jealous. We need to use the mindfulness. Every so often check in, you know, like right now, go ahead, check in. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Go ahead. Okay? Did you identify anything? Gratitude. Good. Somebody angry, somebody feeling upset. Many of us are. You might have identified that. That's okay. It's okay. So you identify what's happening right now. And if it's something harmful, so-called negative, then you work with it. No guilt. In the Tibetan language, there's no word for guilt. In the Tibetan language, there's no word for guilt. In the Tibetan language, there's no word for guilt. I wanted to accentuate that. In Buddhism, there's no concept for guilt. There is shame, there is regret. But it's a translation thing here. The Sanskrit, the Tibetan don't imply guilt at all. The English words shame and regret sometimes do imply a little guilt. So it's guilt-free. You don't need guilt. I know nobody has guilt. I know that. I know you all have guilt. Let it go. When you're mindful and you notice you're feeling guilty, let it go. Don't grab onto it. Don't make a story with it. Don't block it. Let it come up, let it go. And the more you do that, the guilt will reduce, guaranteed. Because guilt requires the spotlight. It's narcissistic. If you don't pay attention to it, it'll slowly wither. It takes time. We've been doing it since we were kids, so it'll take time. But stay with it. Don't engage it. Notice it, and just allow it to go. Again, 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 again. Don, 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 don. That's what they say in Japanese. Again and again and again. Okay. The third is arrogance. Sometimes we feel proud. Boy, I'm so good. Boy, I really understood that question really well. I really did that really well. I just baked a cake, and it's the best cake in the world. I'm the best, you know. When you feel arrogant, remember it's a trap. It's like being in solitary confinement. You lose all your good friends because no one wants to be put down, and you're putting down other people. You feel you're the best. So you lose all your genuine friends. Not only that, you feel you know everything. So you don't learn anymore. You don't listen to others. You don't read. When you're in a conversation, you're not listening to the other person. You're starting to formulate your next words. Because why should I listen to the other person? I know everything. Okay? It's a big trap. So when you notice you're being arrogant, remember the pitfalls, and then tell yourself you want to be practicing humility. You want to be humble. It takes a lot of courage and strength to be humble. The people that I mentioned were all humble people. Martin Luther King, Saint Mother Teresa, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, and many others. Very brave, very courageous, humble, compassionate, no anger, no jealousy, and no arrogance. Okay? So those are our models, our heroes. Good. Okay, I think I will stop here and see if you have some questions or comments. Yes, please, and then we'll go here. Please. Hmm. Yeah. Good. So the question is, this venue is at a university, so most of the people around here are young people. You both are working, several of you are working in the middle school, and that's even younger kids, or kids, younger kids. And how can we, you said that I mentioned at the beginning that a lot of young people are losing hope. How can we, and then your question was, how can we reinstill hope in young people? That's a wonderful question. I think the things that we're talking about are helpful. I think young people do suffer from a lot of insecurity, and that can lead very quickly to no hope, kind of feeling depressed. So I think this healthy self-confidence picture is good to help them with. And the mindfulness piece is very important to be able to identify what we're feeling, how we're feeling, what we're thinking. Those are two things. I would talk about this precious home that we all have in the center of the chest, like a diamond, that's safe, where there's trust, that's open and available 24/7. And when you're feeling loss of hope, you can return there to find some wellness and some hope. There's a difference between what's happening outside in the world and what's happening inside of us. They're not always the same, yet it has a strong influence on us. So sometimes it's important to have that healthy self-confidence, that home filled with joy and safety and trust that can help us buffer some of the toughness that's out there. It's not like we're burying our head in the sand and ignoring. We're not. But at the same time, we're finding wellness inside of ourself. A daily meditation is wonderful. So we're going to do a meditation. How much time do we have left? 45? Good. So pretty soon we'll do a meditation together, and that one you can teach to young kids. I don't have slides today, but I do show a slide of when I was outside of Seattle in Tacoma, Washington, a few years before COVID, and we did meditation together. There were a number of third grade classes, 8-year-old kids. So these are kids younger than middle school kids, right? And we were all meditating together. It was fabulous. So it's certainly possible, yeah. You just need to guide them and maybe get some backing from your principal or whatever. Or maybe you don't even need that, but that's also very helpful. You're welcome. Please. Oh, excuse me. We had a question here, and then we'll come back to you. Please. I'm sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. Just like Wayne's and Sue's son died from a brain aneurysm, ruptured. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm very much a believer in reincarnation. And I heard of this concept called life review. I'm sorry, called? A life review, yes. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So you've asked one question, but within that one question, there may be 5 or 6. That's okay. Let me see if I can remember them. First one, do I believe in reincarnation? Yes. And I'll explain that, what that means to me. Two, you talked about your aunt passing a week ago today, and how she had a difficult life. And then you talked about how after people die, they can review everything in their life, the good stuff, the benefit stuff, and the harmful stuff. And then you asked, do people have a choice or they have a capacity to change that so they don't just recapitulate, do the same thing in the next life? Did I get it right? Okay, good. Thank you for your questions. Wonderful. So, from a Buddhist perspective and Hindu perspective and some Chinese traditions, we reincarnate. This isn't the only life. Okay. So, what reincarnates is the mind. Okay? The body dies. The mind continues. Okay? So, the mind is in a continuum. Okay? Moment to moment continuum. Everything is in a continuum. The chair you're sitting in is in a continuum. There's not a chair. We think there's a chair. Oh, I'm sitting on a chair. This is my chair. This is the same chair I sat in when I came in, an hour or so ago. Really? What's the chair made of? Huh? Matter, energy, atoms. Huh? Okay, let's look at that. Space between the atoms. So, the chair, I think we all agree, is made of atoms, right? Right? Okay. I mean, yes, sometimes it's energy, sometimes it's matter, but let's say it's atoms are the chair's made of atoms. All the physical universe made of atoms, our body also, right? What's an atom made of? There's a nucleus, proton, neutron, right? Then what whirls around? Electron. Could I get some water? Could I get some water, please? Is this for me? Thanks. So then between the electrons and the nucleus, protons and neutrons, what is there? Empty space. And how much empty space is there? A lot. It's actually 10, let's see, what is it? It's 10 to the 12th power. It's 99.999999999%, almost everything. Empty space, the atom. Okay? So why don't you fall through the chair? Why don't you levitate if your body is also 99.999999999 empty space? Why don't you just levitate? Huh? Energy force. Maybe the energy force is 99.9999999 empty space. It's matter. So if it's moving really fast, it'll form like fields, feeling like something solid, like Higgs bosons. Okay, I'm just playing a little bit. I'm just trying to deconstruct our notion of reality. That's what I'm trying to do. Deconstruct our notion of reality. We take things as solid. The chair we take as solid. It's not. We think it is, it's not. We take ourself and our bodies as solid. Not. Okay? So I'm beginning to deconstruct the notion of our ego also. Okay? We take our ego to be fixed, unchanging. Do you remember when you were about 11, kind of just starting to go through puberty? That person at age 11, yourself, is that the same you? Is that you or not you? Oh. How many people think it's you? Raise your hands. How many people think it's not you? Raise your hands. How many people are unsure? Raise your hands. Okay, good. So if you said it was you, do you mean you don't change? You don't change. No, I'm asking. If you said it was you, does it mean you don't change? Those that said it was you. Huh? No, you don't. So you think it changes, but it's still you. I'm not sure. Okay. Those of you that said it's not you, who was it? Was it your neighbor? Yeah, when you were 11 years old? Who was it? Earlier version. So it's you, but not you. Yeah. You, but not you. Yeah. See, the problem is we take ourselves to be solitary, independent, and unchanging. That's our normal habit. When you think about it, then you can think about it differently, right? But just your normal reaction, yeah, oh yeah, that was me. Oh yeah, I was 11, but it was me. And then you say, well, the same as you? Well, maybe, I've changed, but still me. Really? What do you mean by me? So we don't normally react to the way the me really is, which is always in connection, in network, in dependence on parents, on our environment, on our families, on our work, on our community, on and on, right? When we think about it, we say, oh yeah, I'm in connection, da-da-da. But the way we react, it's not that way. So that's false. It's a false understanding of who we are. So to find deeper happiness, we need to get rid of this mistake of who we think we are. Everybody's in the same boat. So a deeper level of compassion is understanding that everyone is making the mistake thinking that they're solid and independent and not in connection. And so to help people through compassion get rid of that deeper suffering, we have to do the work ourselves first, right? To begin to let go of this false notion of who we are. For those of you that want to go deeper with this, there's a wonderful book. It's not easy, it's a small book. It's called How to See Yourself as You Really Are. How to See Yourself as You Really Are by the Dalai Lama. Okay. And if you do check that book out, if you don't understand it right away, don't worry. Just read through it, get a little familiar with the terminology, how to see yourself as you really are. And as you get a little more familiar with the terminology, it'll start to become more clear how to identify that false notion that we think we are, and then how to get rid of it. And when you do that, automatically, you're flooded with unconditional love and compassion. You're flooded with unconditional love and compassion. Okay, good. While I'm mentioning books, I'll mention a couple others. One is No Fear, No Death, The Transformative Power of Compassion. Okay, it's a book I wrote. And it's about the stuff we're talking about. Okay. For those of you that want to dive deeper into the Buddhist wisdom, it's a more technical book. It's called Nagarjuna's Wisdom. Nagarjuna's Wisdom. Nagarjuna was kind of the second Buddha, lived 2,000 years ago. The Buddha lived 2,600 years ago. Okay? Do you mind spelling that? Sorry? Can you spell that? Nagarjuna? Nagar. Juna. You're welcome. If you put my name in there, you'll get those books will pop up if you're on Amazon or something. Okay, so we probably have about 40 minutes left. Huh? It's 30 after now? Half an hour. Okay, good. Maybe a couple more questions, and then we'll meditate. Please. Beautiful, beautiful. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. 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 Are you here in Phoenix? Yeah. So I'm sorry, but Phoenix is behind the times a little bit. 5, 10 years ago, we couldn't use the word meditation. People got a little freaked out. I am with you. Nowadays, if you don't use the word meditation, people say, what about meditation? Not in Phoenix or some aspects of Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, I firstly would have compassion for those parents that say, my kid is not going to be taught meditation or mindfulness, because they're hurting tremendously, those parents that say that. So I'd have compassion for them. Secondly, sometimes you can use different terminology, you know, that's a little less potentially explosive or negative, such as, you know, we're working doing mental health. Now, parents can't really say, I don't want my kids doing mental health, can they? They have. I don't know. This place has gone under. Yeah. I just got to work with it. Maybe just don't let it bother you. See those parents with compassion. Somehow they've got some funny notions, and that, you know, they have funny notions about educating their kids. And we're not going to change those parents, or not easily. So just, you know, work with it. Just, you know, provide it for the other kids. It's fine. Send them to me sometimes, and I'll give them a little kick in the butt. I'm joking. I'm sorry? My ninja, yeah, my ninja outfit. Good. Yeah. Model good behavior. So at least the parents can see that their kids are getting a teacher that they feel good about. You know, honest, integrity, cares about the kids. I mean, those are special qualities for a teacher. And regardless of the parent, if they feel and see that, they feel secure, they feel comfortable about their kid in that classroom. Even if sometimes there's some, whoa, meditation and mindfulness. Yes, any other, please. Yes.
Being a little less hopeful. And you are the founder of Altruism in Medicine Institute. I work in healthcare and I was graduate medical education. And our pipeline of caregivers in healthcare are those younger people.
Hmm?
And my experience has been that the notion of altruism is almost a dirty word in the sense that it's like, but I have a right to like work-life balance, and I'm not married to my job, and I think I just would be curious about how you think about that and how that plays into how we can be helpful with our caregivers.
Yeah. So altruism is sometimes a, did you say a dirty word or a? Yeah. So how do we counter that? We're teaching altruism in the schools in many communities in the United States and other countries. We're teaching kids how to be better givers, how to be kind, how to sit quietly. We may not call it meditation, but for a minute or so to sit quietly. Okay, we're teaching kids how to be more compassionate, what that means. We're teaching kids how to identify their emotions. Sometimes we have a big poster and we have the kid who's acting out go up to the board and, Johnny, please point to how you're feeling. And then go sit down. And then, go to the other poster and how would you like to be feeling? Another poster with a bunch of different faces, different emotions. So we're teaching the children how to identify their emotions. So this is happening in a lot of school districts around the country. Louisville, Kentucky is one that I know very well. They have the Compassionate Schools Project. It's been going for years. They've got a lot of research that's going on from the University of Louisiana, of Louisville, and from the University of Virginia. And many other school systems. Madison, Wisconsin has the same. Appleton, Wisconsin has the same. There are many school districts that are doing this. So do you elect your superintendent of schools, or is that appointed? It's elected. So elect somebody who's good. Elect somebody who's going to do this stuff. It's a no-brainer. And work hard to get that person elected. Okay? It's important. It's important for our future generations. Not only of healthcare people, but all of our leaders, come from our youth. So this is really important. So work hard at that. Good. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry, you have a question. Yes. Okay, fire away.
You're talking about the inner diamond, the inner.
Yes, inner diamond, yes.
I want to know what are the characteristics that if I find it, I need to know if I'm looking at the inner diamond.
Right, you want to know what it is so you can find it properly, yes.
Yeah, and the other question is, what is the mechanism behind, what is the chemical reaction that is happening that is kind of supporting, what is the inner diamond?
What is the inner diamond? Good. Okay, so the inner diamond is love. How to recognize love? You know it when you have it. Okay. It's safe. You feel safe. You don't feel insecure when you come to your home diamond in the middle of your chest. You feel trust. You feel well. Okay. Normally we don't feel well. We have a lot of junk going on and we sort of feel out of balance much of the time. When you're home, you feel well. You don't feel out of balance. You're in balance. What's it made of? Well, on a deeper level, there's a heart chakra there, which is very, very important, an subtle energetic location, place. It's also the mind. So the natural mind is all about love. It's not about ego. It's all about love. And so we're returning to our natural state when we find our home, cultivate our home, and hang out at home. Okay? Thank you. Okay, do it quickly. How much time do we have left? 15, 20 minutes, please.
I am aware of the love that is inside me.
Good. Then you know your home. You know your home.
Taking that as the base, let's say that I know that what it is. What would I do with that? What is the next? What is
If you identify it with love, then that love fills yourself, okay? And then it goes out in all your relationships with everyone. To have love as a part of that relationship with everyone. Okay? Good. Thank you. Good. Let's meditate. How many of you have ever meditated? Raise your hands. Wow, we got a meditation group here. Yeah, tell that to your principal or your teachers or your parents. Good. State. Okay, so there's two types of meditation: concentration or shamatha, and analytic or contemplative. The latter, we actually think about a topic like kindness, love, change or impermanence, wisdom, that we're not who we think we are, okay? And the first type, there can be three different types of objects for our concentration meditation. One, the breath. 2, an image, a mental image of somebody, a hero. So if we're Buddhist, it's Buddha. And it's the size of our hand, center of our chest, facing the same way we are. If we're Christian, it might be Jesus Christ. If we're more scientific inclined, it might be Albert Einstein. He's my hero. When you get good at it and you're really, concentrating well in your meditation, not getting distracted, then you can reduce the size to the size of your thumb. And when you get really good, the size of a sesame seed, really tiny. Okay. The third type is the mind itself, and particularly that quality of the mind, which we call awareness. Not awareness of something, just being aware. So everything's wide open. Your thoughts, your sensations, your feelings. So it's a little like this. Like that. You don't block anything. So we're going to do the first one, the first, okay? The concentration, shamatha meditation on the breath. So we're going to put our attention right here, base of the nose, right here. We're going to close our mouth, breathe through our nose normally. You're not going to change your breathing. Keep your attention right there, base of the nose. Now, you're going to get distracted, most likely. A sound, a thought, sensation in your body. If you get distracted, which you probably will, I want you just to bring your mind back to here, okay? Okay. Every time you do that, you're training the mind to be less distracted. That is meditation. Okay? Good. Sit up straight. Shoulders relaxed. I want you to have your eyes open, glancing down like this. It develops more mental clarity to meditate with your eyes open, okay? Mouth is closed, breathing normally. Spine straight because your central channel runs in front of your spine and we want that nice and straight so things can flow in there. With your hands, I want you to put your left hand palm up. Right hand palm up, going the other direction, like this. Thumbs making a triangle, like this. And then just put it in your lap. Again, straight spine, relaxed shoulders. And we'll meditate for maybe about 8 minutes. So the other 23 hours and 52 minutes of our life, of our day, have a big influence over these 8 minutes, right? So we have to try to be more calm during the day, less stimulants, more exercise, better sleep. Try to let some of the time our mind be relaxed. Do mindfulness, come into the present moment. All that will have a positive influence on our meditation. Please do this every morning. You don't watch a clock or set an alarm. That's a distraction. Please don't judge. You will. Judgment will come up. Oh, I'm such a great meditator, or I'm such a terrible meditator, right? If those thoughts or feelings, words come up, please do not engage. Just leave them be, and they will go away. If you make a story or you engage them, you elaborate, then you kind of nurture them. We want to just observe, not react, not block, not make a story. Just let those, if judgment comes up, just let it come up and let it go. And gradually it'll get less. Do it every morning around the same time, in the same place in your home. Put a chair or a cushion. Tell your roommates, your family members, whomever's with you, please leave me alone for a few minutes in the morning. I'm going to meditate, or I'm just going to sit quietly whatever you like to tell them, okay? Make it a habit like brushing your teeth. And slowly with time, you'll notice that these destructive emotions, anger, jealousy, pride, will start to reduce, and you'll find more happiness. Thank you very much.